Is Earth unique in the solar system? The only place where life could have taken hold? Or could such an environment have existed at some point on Mars, where water and key chemical building blocks could have come together in a way that could support the smallest, most basic forms of life? The Mars Science Laboratory rover, NASA's new robotic vehicle for exploring Mars, is heading to the Red Planet to find the answer. Could Mars have had an environment capable of supporting life? The Mars Science Laboratory rover is taking all the tools it needs to try to solve this mystery. If all goes well, at the end of its journey, the rover will have taken us to places on Mars we could never reach before, given us a glimpse back into the history of the planet, and maybe even shown us another planet.
Is Mars
where
really
life
red?
could survive.
When you see Mars in the night sky, it definitely has a reddish tint to it. People have been noticing that for a long time. Even the ancient Egyptians called Mars the Red One. So where does that redness come from? Well, a lot of rocks on Mars are full of iron, and when they're exposed to the great outdoors, they oxidize and turn reddish, the same way an old bike left out in the yard gets all rusty. When rusty dust from those rocks gets kicked up in the atmosphere, it makes the Martian sky look pink. From a long way away, the whole planet looks kind of reddish, but if you get a close-up view, with an orbiter, lander, or rover, you'll see that a lot of Mars is actually more of a butterscotch color. Depending on what minerals are around, some landscapes can be more golden, brown, tan, or even a little greenish. So in fact, there are a lot of different colors
Mars
on
red
what we
hot?
call the red planet.
Mars may look hot, but don't let its color fool you. Mars is actually pretty cold. In orbit, Mars is about 50 million miles farther away from the Sun than Earth. That means it gets a lot less light and heat to keep it warm. Mars also has a hard time holding on to the heat it does get. On Earth, much of the Sun's heat gets trapped in our atmosphere, which acts like a blanket to keep our planet warm. But Mars's atmosphere is about 100 times thinner than Earth's, so heat from the Sun can easily escape. How easily? If you were standing on the Martian equator at noon, it would feel like summer at your feet, but winter near your head. At night, it's even worse. When the sun goes down, temperatures can plummet to negative triple digits. And beware of cold winter nights when it could drop even lower. So if you plan to visit, better bring a spacesuit to keep warm. Mars really is a pretty cool planet.
How do you land on Mars? Very carefully. Your spacecraft hurtles toward the planet at thousands of miles per hour, so you'll have to hit the brakes in a hurry. First, your capsule needs a heat shield. It protects the spacecraft inside from the heat and friction of entry into the atmosphere. Friction slows you down over 90%, but not enough to land safely. Use a parachute to slow down even more. Still, falling at over 100 miles per hour, you need the right system to land safely. Here are some options. With a small to mid-size rover, use a cushion of airbags along with retro rockets. Impact at 30 miles an hour and bounce to a stop. With a large lander, use retro rockets and landing legs to touch down going about 6 miles an hour. Or with a large heavy rover, use a big jetpack to slow down to under 2 miles an hour. Then gently lower it on cables to land on its wheels. Any way you do it, you'll need skill and hard work. There's nothing
How hard
easy
is it
about
to
landing
land
on
Curiosity
on Mars. On a scale from 1 to 10, landing on Mars is a 20. Curiosity is the biggest, most capable Mars rover yet, and needs a new type of landing to reach the ground safely. In this 7-minute trip to the surface of Mars, we have to slow down from over 13,000 miles an hour down to 0. Hundreds of things have to go just right. Curiosity must hit the atmosphere at just the right angle, endure extreme heat from friction as it descends through the atmosphere, open its parachute at just the right time, use radar to know exactly how high it is, free itself from the parachute, perfectly fire 8 rocket engines to slow final descent, drop down dangling on 4 cables, lock its wheels into place just before landing, and cut the cables right at the moment of touchdown. And even if we do everything right, Mars can always surprise us. It's a big challenge, but a big opportunity to help unlock the mysteries of Mars.